Hello, my name is Penny Nixon. I'm a pelvic health physiotherapist. Today I'm going to do an introductory core stability class, which I have been asked to video on many occasions following our core stability classes, which we hold at Adam Brooks Hospital. I'd like to introduce my colleague Claire, who is going to demonstrate the exercises for you to follow today. So, core stability is all about using 4 groups of muscles together. The deep tummy muscles, the pelvic floor muscles, which live as a sling underneath, the diaphragm, which is the breathing muscle, and little muscles that live between each section of the spine called multifidus. These 4 groups of muscles work together to form your stability. We need these muscles to work very gently together as we do all sorts of other activities in life. So we need a little bit of action around the core as we stretch, as we use a foot, as we walk, with all activities. So we're encouraging these muscles to work together as we do other things in life. So we're going to start with in standing, with feet hip width apart, nice soft knees, and the pelvis in neutral. So put your hands on your pelvis. You're going to tip your pelvis forward and back. So the tail tucked under is one end of the range, and the tail sticking out behind you is the other end of range. Halfway between those 2 movements is what we call your neutral pelvis position. It's about in the middle. Now you're not going to stay superglued in this position. This is a position that you're going to keep coming back to. So holding that position, very gently tuck in the tummy and very gently lift the pelvic floor muscles. Now lift the breastbone, shoulders down and back, and lengthen through the back of your neck. So you're going to feel lovely and uplifted. Now do a gentle sway forward through to the base of your feet, sway back onto your heels, and then stop so that you've got equal pressure over the whole foot. Holding that position, I'd like you to take some nice big deep breaths. Breathing in, you'll feel your ribs expanding. Breathe out, and those ribs will drop. Breathing in, and breathing out. Okay, now make sure that your tummy muscles are gently on still. It's very easy to lose them. Make sure the pelvic floor muscles are gently working. And you must never ever hold your breath when you're doing these exercises. So it doesn't matter if you're breathing in or out, but just make sure that you're not holding your breath. So holding the tummy and the pelvic floor in this lovely new posture, I want you to start rolling your shoulders backwards. So roll them backwards. Just think about those shoulder blades. Slide those shoulder blades down and back as you're taking the shoulders round. It's very easy to start sticking your chin forward as you're doing this, so make sure you stay lovely and long in the back of the neck, and keep breathing. Okay, now we're going to make that movement a little bit bigger, so we're going to do circles with the elbows. So rolling the shoulders back by circling the elbows, again breathing with each movement, and still keeping the tummy and the pelvic floor working, and you keep lovely and long in the back of the neck. Take your time, slow quality movements, and bring the arms down by your side. Okay. Now make sure the tummy's still working again, pelvic floor still working. Now going to breathe in to stretch your arms up above your head, and breathe out to take them out down by your side. Breathing in, so lovely light arms as if you're a ballerina, and then arms out to the side, dropping them down. Breathing in, all the way to the top, and breathe out. And breathing in, all the way to the top, and breathe out. And just one more, breathing in, all the way to the top, and breathing out. Lovely. Now just a quick check of your posture. Make sure you're not hanging on with your toes. Make sure you've still got very gently soft knees. The pelvis still in neutral. So do a little tilt. I call this movement the Tom Jones manoeuvre. So find the middle position, tucking the tummy in, lift the pelvic floor, lift the breastbone, shoulders down and wide. Keeping that lovely lifted position, turn your head to one side. Come back to the middle. Turn your head to the other side. Come back to the middle. Now take one ear down to your shoulder, and you can take the opposite shoulder down towards the floor. Sit your right shoulder and back to the middle. And then other way, ear to shoulder, opposite shoulder down towards the floor. And back to the middle. Okay, now, again, make sure you're not hanging on for dear life with your toes, soften those knees, pelvis in neutral. Tuck the tummy in, lift the breastbone, shoulders down and back. Take your hands to your ears, shrug your shoulders up, down and back. Keep those shoulders down and back. Then a big stretch up to the ceiling, really reach and then stretch all the way around, all the way down. Brilliant. And hands to ears. And shoulders up and down and wide. Keep those shoulders down and back. Keep the tummy tucked in. And stretch up to the ceiling, really reach. And a great big circle all the way around. And we'll just do one more. Hands to ears, shoulders up, down and wide. Keep those shoulders down and back. Tummy tucked in, pelvic floor lifted. Big stretch up to the ceiling, really reach. And then big circle all the way around. Great. Okay. Make sure those shoulders stay down and back. Put one hand on your hip. Reach up with the other hand, stretching up to the ceiling, and then over you go. Now keep equal pressure on your feet. Feel as though you're stretching up out of your side. And then down you go. And the other side. So reaching up, stretch, and over. Hold that, keep breathing. Arm down, back to the middle, and we'll do one more to each side. So tummy tucked, pelvic floor lifted, stretch up with the arm, equal pressure on your feet, and over you go. And back to the middle, and then the other side, reach, stretch, and over. And down you go. Fabulous. Arms down by your side. Shoulders down and back, lovely and tall and uplifted. Now make a little diamond. You're going to look through your diamond, elbows up, shoulders down, long in the back of the neck. Tummy tucked in, pelvic floor lifted. You're going to keep one hand still and you're going to rotate, watching the other hand as you go. And then come back to the middle. So keep the pelvis still, looking at me, as you rotate your upper half. So breathe, rotate, and come back to the middle. Breathe and rotate, and come back to the middle. Breathe and rotate, and come back to the middle. And breathe and rotate, and come back to the middle. Rotate, and then extend the arm out behind you, looking at your middle finger. Bend your elbow, and come back to the middle. Now keep your trunk nice and tall and long. Rotate, extend the arm, bend the elbow, and then rotate back to the middle. And go the other way. Rotate as if you're rotating on a spike. Keep the pelvis looking forward. That's it. Then extend that arm back. Look at that middle finger. That's perfect. Bend the elbow and rotate back to the middle. And then the other way. Last one. Rotate. Extend that arm. Bend the arm and come back to the middle. Let those arms come down. Relax. Lovely. Okay, feet hip width apart again. Nice soft toes. You probably want to be on the mat. soft knees, pelvis in neutral, tummy tucked in, pelvic floor lifted, breastbone lifted, chin tucked under, shoulders down and back. Have your hands flat. Rotate your arms, bring them back in and down. Breathing in, breathe out, breathe in and down. Now we're going to come up onto toes. Breathing in, stay on your toes and bend. Breathe out, breathe in onto toes and down. Breathing in, breathe out, breathe in and down. Try and stay on your toes the whole time. So breathing in, stay up, keep your heels up, good. Up again and down, fabulous. And again, breathing in, breathe out, breathe in and down. Great. Okay, now we're going to walk through our feet. So just stretch through one foot and change, stretch through the other foot and change, stretch. Feels really nice to do this. And stretch. Good. Feet side by side again. Soften those knees, pelvis in neutral, tummy tucked in, pelvic floor lifted, lovely and tall through your body. And what we're going to do now is we're going to peel one foot off and bend that knee and lift. Good, keep breathing. And toe down, roll through the foot, and the other foot, peel and lift. Fabulous, well done. Keep breathing. Toe down and roll through the foot. Change, peel and lift. Toe down, roll through the foot. Change, peel and lift. Toe down and roll through the foot. Well done. And arms beside you. And we'll just finish off this little bit with a few squats because I think they're very important. So feet just a little bit wider and your feet turned out to the side. I think it's easier to do them with your hands together. So shoulders still down and back, lovely long in the back of the neck. Keep the tummy tucked and the pelvic floor lifted. And you're going to hinge at the hips. So you can just stick your bottom out behind you, hinging at the hips to lower your bottom down. And coming up, you push through your heels and squeeze the bottom. So breathing in, sit behind you, push through the heels, squeeze the bottom to come up. Breathing in and out. Brilliant. A few more. Breathing in and out. Squeeze the bottom as you come up, really push through those heels. And one more. Breathing in and out. Well done. And relax those arms down. Okay, we'll just do a couple of stretches. So one foot behind the other. Bend the front knee. Push the back heel into the floor. Tuck your tail under. Tuck your tummy in. Lift the breastbone, shoulders down and back and long in the back of the neck. And keep breathing. So you're stretching the calf of the back leg, but you're still holding a fabulous posture. So you can get carryover. If you use these techniques in everything that you do, then you can get carryover into everyday life. Then rock onto the back foot, lift the front toes and roll down towards your front foot. So you get a stretch in the back of the front leg. Keep breathing as you're stretching and don't bounce. And come back up, then change legs. Other leg behind you, bend the front knee, push the back heel down, tuck your tail under, tummy in, pelvic floor lifted. Lift the breastbone, shoulders down and back, and breathe. And then rock onto the back foot, lift the front toes and roll down towards that front foot. Breathing. And come back up. And then a quad stretch. So you might want to hold on to something, you might manage not. But getting hold of one foot. Make sure that your knee is parallel with the other one. Your tail's tucked under, and again keep breathing and you'll feel a stretch on the front of your thigh. And change to the other side. Keep breathing, keep the leg parallel, and down you go. Fantastic. Okay, we're now going to move to standing against a wall. We're going to do a couple of exercises. So we're going to get you standing against the wall. So bring your feet forward of the wall a little bit, and a little bit apart, and bend your knees. Now you're going to imprint your low back onto the wall. Keep your breastbone lifted and keep nice and long in the back of the neck. And to start with, we're going to do side bends. So you're going to try and keep the whole back on the wall, and you're going to slide your body top half down sideways to one side, and just feel the other side lengthen out. Then draw that body back to the middle, and then sideways down the other way. Now breathe with each movement. Use the tummy to draw you back to the middle, and go the other way. Lengthen, enjoy that feeling of stretch. Use the tummy to draw you back, and then slide down to the other side. Well done. And draw back to the middle. Okay, and what we're going to do next is what we call a roll down. So it's the same starting position, so the low back imprinted on the wall, shoulders down and back and long in the back of the neck. And this time what you're going to do is you're going to curl your head forward first off the wall, then stretch your fingertips down towards your toes, and then peel your upper back down one joint at a time. So you're peeling off the wall, and you get to a point where you can't go any further without moving your hips. Then you need to let your hips go as you're rolling yourself down, all the way down towards the floor, as far as you can comfortably go. And when you get down there, you let your arms dangle, let your head relax. Enjoy that feeling of a stretch. You can extend your knees a little bit in that position if you want to. Before you come back up, soften the knees, and then roll back up, imprinting one joint at a time back on the wall. So starting with the very lower vertebra, one joint at a time, all the way back up. So you're thinking about your skeleton and thinking about putting one knobble at a time back on the wall, ending up with your shoulders down and back and lovely and long in the back of the neck. Okay, now have another little go. So curling the head forward, stretch the fingertips down towards your toes, peel the upper back off the wall. Then as you go down, let the low back go as the hips flex, and allowing your body to curl. And you're trying to get each bit of the spine doing its fair share of movement. When you get down there, let your arms relax, let your head relax underneath you. Before you come back up, soften the knees. Then the first thing to imprint on the wall is the low back, so imprinting the low back. Then the upper back, just one joint at a time, all the way back up to the top, ending up with a fabulous posture against the wall. So shoulders down and back and long in the back of the neck. And we'll do one more for good luck. So curling your head forward, stretch the fingertips down, then roll down, one joint at a time. Curling each little bit of the spine, getting each bit to do its fair share of movement. Then let the hips go, allowing your body to move. Let the arms relax, let the head relax, and then coming back up, imprint the low back, having softened your knees, one joint at a time, coming back up. And all the time you're listening to your body, you're doing what your body is allowing you to do. Don't ever move into pain. Lovely. Then come and stand at the end of your mat. You're going to do a roll down to get onto the mat. Okay, so feet hip width apart. Again, your lovely starting posture. And imagine that wall is behind you as you roll down to get onto the mat. So curl your chin forward, stretch your fingertips, rolling down. Get your hands on the mat. Bend your knees. That's it. Onto your knees, and then you're going to roll over so that you're lying with your head on your block if you need one. So So knees and feet hip width apart. So starting position is really important. So you want your feet and your knees just hip width apart. So you need to bring yours in a bit, Claire, because your hips are not that wide. That's lovely. Then we come up to shoulders. Make sure the shoulders are down and back. And actually, I don't think you need that block. Your chin's too far forward. Some people will, but Claire doesn't, which is lovely and symmetrical. Put your hands on your ribs and just take a few nice big deep breaths. So big breath in, you feel those ribs expand, and that tummy lift, and breathe out as your ribs drop and your tummy drops. Big breath in, and breathe out, let those ribs drop. Okay, then move your fingers down to be on your pelvic bones. And you're going to imprint your low back now down onto the mat, so you flatten out any little hollow. This is called the pelvic tilt. And then go the other way, so you feel a little arch. Halfway between is your neutral pelvis position. So just do a few tilting forward and back so you feel that movement and find the mid position. And that's your starting position. Wiggle your fingers in a little bit so that you can feel the tummy muscles. Okay, what I want you to do now is take a breath in. As you breathe out, you very gently engage your tummy muscles so you can feel just a gentle tension under your fingers. Hold those muscles on as you keep breathing. So just keep that gentle tensioning feel as you keep breathing. And you should be able to do that for 10 breathing cycles. Just keep that going, that's about 4. So you're keeping the gentle abdominal tension very gently as you keep breathing. Okay, then you relax those muscles completely. This time you're going to engage the pelvic floor muscles. You're going to keep your fingers where they are, and you will feel that the tummy muscles will automatically come on as you engage the pelvic floor muscles. So very gently take a breath in. As you breathe out, gently engage the pelvic floor muscles. Feel for a little bit of tension in the tummy, and keep breathing and try and hold those muscles on. So breathe and hold. When you've done a few exercises, it's very important to remember to let go of all of these muscles as well. They can't hold for the whole of a core stability class, and make sure you have plenty of rests. So at the moment Claire's holding the pelvic floor, and she's feeling in her tummy that she's getting co-contraction of the tummy and the pelvic floor muscles, and she's continuing to breathe, so not holding her breath. And this is the crux of core stability. It's about being able to engage the tummy very gently with the pelvic floor muscles, and to be able to keep breathing, keep that not holding your breath as you do these exercises. Okay, we're going to add in an exercise now. We're going to do knee fall out. So the first thing to do is to very gently engage the tummy and the pelvic floor. Make sure your shoulders are down and back. Then you're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, you let one knee come out to the side. And then you breathe in to draw that knee back to the middle. Breathe out, take the other knee out to the side. And breathe in to draw that knee back to the middle. Keep going, so breathing out, take the knee out, and breathe in to draw that knee back in. Imagine that you've got a tray of drinks resting out across your tummy, full of the best crystal and the finest champagne. It would be a disaster if that wobbled off. So you're feeling with your hands on the pelvis to make sure that that tray of drinks could stay in place. If you feel there's a little bit of movement, I feel with Claire there's a bit of movement on the right side there, just make the movement a little bit smaller so that you're really controlling the movement, and draw back in. So breathe out, knee out. Just do the movement that you can control, and breathe in to draw back in. One more on each side. Breathe out, knee out. And breathe in, knee in. Breathe out, knee out. And breathe in, knee in. Great. What we're going to do now is change direction of movement. So this time we're going to let one knee go out straight, and we're going to take it in turns. So hands stay on the pelvis. Make sure you relax everything. Let's have a little break. Tummy and pelvic floor relaxed. Okay. Now re-engage the tummy and the pelvic floor. You're going to breathe in, stretch one leg out straight, and breathe out to bend that knee. Breathing in, stretch away, and breathe out to bend. And it actually doesn't matter which way you breathe. People get hung up about it, but just make sure you're not holding your breath. Breathe with each movement. Draw back it in. Stretch one leg away as you breathe, and then bend. Keep it going. Now the easiest way to do this is by sliding your foot along a wooden floor. So you can make it easier by doing that, or you can make it a little bit harder just by having the foot just above the floor. It's a bit tricky on a sticky mat because you get stuck, so it might be easier just to go above the mat. That's great. And all the time you're keeping that lovely flat pelvis which you're feeling for with your hands, not hitching from one side or the other. Just stop with those knees together and put both arms down by your side. What we're going to look for now is whether you can keep your ribs down as you take your arms up above your head. So tummy and pelvic floor on, breathing in to stretch both arms up above your head, and breathe out, arms down by your side. Breathing in, stretch those arms up above your head, and breathe out, bring them back down by your side. That's lovely. And again, breathing in, keep those ribs down, as if you've got little super glue behind you on your ribs. So drop those ribs and then bring those arms down. Okay, now we can add the arms and legs in together. So this time take your left leg away as you take both arms away. That's great. And then bring those back to the middle. And then change so that you take the other leg and both arms. And then back to the middle. We'll do one more on each side. Keep those ribs down. Use the tummy, use the pelvic floor. That's better. Breathe. And come back to the middle. And then last one. Stretch away. And back to the middle. Lovely. Good. Okay. We're now going to relax the tummy, relax the pelvic floor, and roll onto our sides. So you need to have your hips stacked one on top of the other, knees stacked on top of each other, and feet on top of each other. You can do a little tilt of the pelvis, Tom Jones in side lying. So find that neutral position. Tuck the tummy gently in, lift the pelvic floor gently, and put that top hand in front of you for stability. And what we're going to do now is we're going to keep your feet together and lift the top knee as you breathe, and then lower that knee. So breathing in and out. Now the key here is not to let that top hip drop backwards. So make sure you keep the hips stacked one on top of the other, not letting that hip drop. Keep the breathing going. Also keep an eye on that top shoulder, make sure it doesn't edge its way up to your ear. There's an awful lot to think about. So breathing in and out. breathing in and out, and breathing in and out. Good. Couple more. And breathing in and out. Lovely. This is just a very basic class, so I'm going to stick with that, but there's lots of progressions from that one. Now my favourite stretch I am going to teach you, which is both arms in front of you, one hand on top of the other. You're going to float the top arm up, watching that hand as you go. You're going to open that whole arm out, looking at your hand, so you're rotating your trunk and you're keeping your hips stacked one on top of the other. You hold that for a few seconds or a few breathing cycles, and then bring the arm back over, watching the hand as you go, resting one hand back on top of the other. And again, rotate, watching that hand, float that arm over, and then bring that arm back over the top. Lovely. And one more. Rotating. Watch the hand as you go. You should find that you're going down a little bit further. Just hold that for a few breaths. It feels lovely to open out. And then bring that arm back over. One hand back on top of the other. Fabulous. We're now going to go onto our tummies. So onto a tummy. One hand on top of the other, and your forehead on your hands. You're going to take your shoulders down and back. Do a little tilt forward and back of your pelvis to find the middle position, and gently tuck the tummy in, lift the pelvic floor. So again, you're engaging those core muscles. And what you're going to do now is you're going to lift your forehead off your hands without lifting your nose in the air. So you keep your nose and your forehead looking down at the mat. So take a breath in and lift. That's great. Keep that nose down. It's really tempting to look up, but you must keep looking down. And then lower down. Good. Make sure the tummy and the pelvic floor are working. Breathing in to lift the head. Keep the nose looking down, the forehead looking down. And then lower down. And this time you can go a little bit higher, so push through the forearms. So breathing in, lift away, push through the forearms, but keep that chin tucked under. That's great. And then lower down. Just do another one like that. So forehead away, breastbone away. Good. Keeping that chin tucked in, don't be tempted to look up, and then lower down. And finally we're going to go up to the top and turn the arms. So you're going to lift the forehead away, breastbone away, and turn the arms round so you're in what we call the cobra position. So still keeping the chin tucked under, you're still not looking up. Great. And down you go. Well done. Now sit back onto your heels into child's pose just to get into the opposite position. Really lovely stretch. And then you're going to rotate onto your other side, so we'll even you up. So you might want to... Okay, that's great. So hips on top of each other, knees on top of each other, feet on top of each other, top shoulder down and away. Do a little tilt of the pelvis, find the middle position, tuck the tummy in, lift the pelvic floor. Okay, you're going to breathe in to lift the top knee, and breathe out to lower. Just make sure that top hip's not rocking backwards. So tuck the tummy, lift the pelvic floor to stabilise you. That's better. Good. So breathing in to lift, and breathe out to lower. Breathing in to lift, and out to lower. going. Breathing in to lift, out to lower. Breathing in and out. Just do a couple more. And out. And opposite, home you can do many more of these. Great. Now we're going to do that lovely stretch. So stretch your arms out in front of you again. Good. And you're going to float the top arm up, watching that hand as you go, opening out your trunk. Keep watching that hand and then just stay there for 3 or 4 breaths, just to let your trunk open out. It's the opposite position to the one we spend most of our day in. So it's a really great position to stretch into. And then bring the arm back over. And then again, rotate, watching the hand. So you rotate the whole of the upper trunk. Just let the arm relax down. Then bring it back up again. And then off you go again. Last one, rotate. Watch that hand as you go, and then bring the arm back over the top. Good. Then roll back onto your back, and we're going to do some bridging. So find your neutral pelvis position again. So feet just hip width apart, don't overdo it. Knees parallel, shoulders down and back. Pelvis in neutral, find that neutral pelvic position. Tuck the tummy in and lift the pelvic floor. Put your hands on your pelvis. Feel the gentle engaging of the tummy and the pelvic floor. We'll start off with a small movement. So you're going to imprint the pelvis down or the low back down. Push through the feet gently, so you're just lifting the bottom a fraction off the mat. And then roll back to your neutral position. Imprint down, push gently through the feet, squeeze the bottom gently, and then roll back to the neutral position. And again, imprint down, and this time peel up a little bit higher so you feel like you're taking 1 or 2 of the vertebrae off the mat, and then when you come down from the upper ribs first, 1 joint at a time, all the way back to your neutral position. Imprinting down, rolling up, so peeling that spine up off the mat, pushing through the feet up a little bit higher if you can, squeeze through the bottom, that's great, and then go down from the upper ribs first, so you curl that spine down, stretching it out as you go, 1 joint at a time, down onto the mat and back into the neutral position. And again, imprint down and scoop under, push through the feet, squeeze the bottom, peel that back up, all the way to the top. Good. And then from the upper ribs, 1 joint at a time, lowering down, all the way down. Lovely, and I think we'll do 1 more. So imprint down, scoop up and lift. Good. And then from the upper ribs all the way down. Well done. Lovely. Okay, now we will do just a couple of minutes of relaxation to finish. So if you'd like to pop your legs out nice and long and just close your eyes and just let your body weight be absorbed by the mat. Just focus on your breathing, don't try and change it, just go with it. As you're breathing, think about the air as it goes in through your nose and out through your mouth. Think about your tummy rising and falling with each breath. think about your shoulders. Raise your shoulders up towards your ears and then let them go. Stretch your arms out all the way down towards your fingertips. Stretch and reach and let them go. Let your elbows be soft and imagine the air floating around your fingers. Bring your thoughts down your spine to the base of your back. Let the little muscles go in your back and your tummy and your pelvic floor. Squeeze the big bottom muscles and let them go. And then stretch your legs out all the way down towards your toes. Stretch and reach and let them go. Let your hips roll out, your knees be soft, and imagine the air floating around your toes. Bring your thoughts back up your legs, up your spine to the base of your neck. Let those little muscles go in your neck and let your head be heavy. Tighten up the little muscles in your face and let them go. Take the tongue off the roof of your mouth and focus once again back on your breathing and just have a moment to yourself. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, open your eyes, bend your knees up and gently roll your knees from one side to the other. Then roll onto your side and push up into sitting. Go onto your knees, tuck your toes underneath you, rock back onto your feet. Come back onto your feet and then you can roll up into standing. And we'll just finish with a nice stand, so feet hip width apart and nice soft knees, pelvis in neutral, tucking in the tummy, the pelvic floor, lift the breastbone, shoulders down and back and nice and long in the back of the neck. Think about where your weight is on your feet, so swaying forward and back, and that middle position. Take a nice big breath in as you stretch up and breathe out and stretch, and there you go. Okay, well done, thank you Claire.